Ron Allen, thank you for that. We're going to go back now to Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speier of California. Congresswoman, I want to get to the situation with the DOJ. What do you think that the president was trying to accomplish by forcing Jeff Sessions out, bringing in Matthew Whitaker as the acting attorney general?
I think the president is pretty transparent. He wants to shut down the Mueller investigation. He's wanted to do it for over a year. He was frustrated by Sessions recusing himself. He now has kicked him out, and he's put in his place someone who it appears is a political operative who has been whispering into the president's ear for months on how to scuttle the investigation. This is not the attorney general of this country that's supposed to be the chief law enforcement officer of this country. And he's probably violating the Constitution because he needs to have the advice and consent of the Senate in order to make an appointment of what is called a principal officer.
But Congressman, do you think he would actually do that? I mean, it would seem beyond the word remarkable were he to try to shut down this investigation and successfully do so. He has been advised by people, I'm certain, both publicly and privately, including his friend and ally Lindsey Graham, who said it would be political suicide to do so.
Well, Lindsey Graham's also changed his tune on a lot of issues in the last year. What I do feel is that the president feels like he's in a corner now. He's like a wounded animal. He knows that the House is going to take seriously its responsibilities to complete the Russia investigation that was prematurely ended, that there will be an effort to access his tax returns, not to find out whether he's wealthy or not. No one really cares. But to access whether or not he has been co-opted by Russian oligarchs and others, part of the mafia of Russia, in many of the buildings that he has been part of, both in Toronto and in Panama.
So what do you think the odds are of bipartisan support, for better or for worse, for the Democrats renewing the push to get legislation to protect Robert Mueller in the investigation?
Well, we've already heard from Senators Flake and Coons that they're going to exercise their rights to bring their bill to the floor of the Senate. And I'm hopeful that we're going to put the Constitution before everything else. And since we've all sworn to uphold it, we have an obligation to do that.
All right. I want to turn to the investigations under the soon-to-be democratically controlled House. I want to play what the president said about how he would respond to that. Let's take a watch.
Are you offering an my way or highway scenario to the Democrats? You're saying that if they start investigating you, that you can play that game and investigate them.
Better than them.
Can you compartmentalize that and still continue to work with them for the benefit of the rest of the country,
No.
or are all bets off?
No. If they do that, then it's just all it is a warlike posture.
What's the game plan for the Democrats? Are you gearing up for that? A warlike posture?
Well, that's what is so disturbing, and that's why so many Americans fled in their support of the president by voting for Democrats. That's why you're going to see a real substantial blue wave when all of these ballots are cast in these various seats. We've already won over 30 seats. So I think the president is making a big mistake. I don't think he's listening to his advisors anymore. And again, I think he feels like a wounded animal who's been cornered, and he is going to show his fangs, and we're just going to do our job, which is to do a thorough, independent investigation, use the subpoena power that, frankly, our Republican colleagues on the Intelligence Committee agreed to use and then reneged on it. And we're not going to have a mouthpiece like Devin Nunes trying to dictate what goes on in that committee.
Well, we will hear more from Adam Schiff, I would think, going forward now after the first of the year. But can you prioritize what you would like to have investigated? We've certainly heard Nancy Pelosi say she wants to go for the president after the president's personal taxes and take a look at all that lies therein. I mean, there's taxes, the prospect of impeachment. Where do you stand on sort of the order, the hierarchy of how things should go down?
Well, I think it's very important to determine whether or not the president is making money off of the American people by being president. He shouldn't be doing that. The Emoluments Clause makes that very clear. We also need to find out why he was so intent on cozying up to Vladimir Putin. And there is so much evidence to suggest that in many of these properties, whether it was the Toronto Hotel, the Soho Hotel, the Panama property, all the money that went through those properties was being laundered. And there is a Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in this country that requires you to determine whether or not money is being laundered into a project in which you are engaged. And if you're getting cash coming in to purchase these units, that's a clear sign that there probably is money laundering going on. So those are the kinds of things we need to look at.
Congresswoman Jackie Speier, I hope you come back and speak with me again. I'd love to have a conversation also about your book. Again, it is a personal tribute to you, but also something that many women can be inspired by reading this book. I just got a copy of it, and congratulations.